So hey everyone, welcome again on Davis Tech channel. And in this video, we are going to cover the topic related to the SocketIo connection with the Flutter. Also, till the end, we are going to create a group chat functionality with help of the Flutter and the SocketIo using the Node.js backend. Okay, so this video is really beginner friendly. I have explained everything by step, okay, which is totally a beginner friendly, so you don't need to worry about anything at all are easily explainable in this whole video. So please watch the video till the end, and let me show you the demo first, then we will talk about more. Okay, so suppose I have implemented a group chat. So suppose I am a user 1. So this is a user 1 and I have entered a group. Suppose this is our group, and suppose I am user 2 and I also entered a group, and I am a user 3 and I also entered a group. If someone will say hi, so that message will come to the user 1 as own message, and those all messages will going to send to the other user 2. Suppose user 2 will want send hey, that will also go to other users. Suppose user 3 also want to send something, and that will also come. You can see that all the messages, all the users are getting random number, a random color, okay, just like WhatsApp. So I tried to implement everything like a group chat functionality. So please watch the video really carefully till the last, and try to share and subscribe the channel. It will highly motivate me to make more such videos. So let's start writing the code, and let's deep down into it, that how we can implement a group chat with help of the Flutter SocketIo. Okay, so first let's understand the project structure first. Okay, so if you see inside a lib folder, you will find that I have created a new folder called source. Okay, inside the source I have two things, foundation folder and the pages folder. If you see the diagram here, it's ugly diagram, I know, but it's just for the visual presentation. You will find that I have two screen. The first screen is the home screen and second screen is the group screen. Okay, that's why inside the pages folder I have created two separate folder called home and group. So whenever we will write a UI or anything related code of the home screen, I'm going to put that inside the home folder. That's why I have created a homepage.dart file where I have kept the code related to the home screen. Similarly, I have a group screen. That's why I have created another folder called group. Okay, where we are going to put the code related to the group page related things. Okay, so this is a kind of UI. Apart from that, I have a folder called foundation. So generally, if we have a big project, then generally what we do, that we create a reusable widgets. So suppose I have to create a e-commerce app. Basically, I have a full series of e-commerce app. You can find the link of that series also in the video description. So most of the time we need to use a same kind of customized button in all over the pages. Suppose I had 10 or 12 pages, so I need to use the same customized button in all over the places. That's why many developers put all the reusable widget in a same folder called foundation and use it everywhere in other pages. Okay, just like a customized button or customized input box or whatever. Those things we can put inside the foundation folder and use it across the multiple pages. So that's why we have to put inside the foundation folder. But for our case, that is not a big project. We just have a two screen, but just for the giving overview, I'm going to put all the reusable widget inside the foundation folder only. But we will come into that part later. Okay, but first thing is first, that we have to focus on the home screen. Okay, so what we need to do is, let's go on a pages and let's go on a home page.dart file, So let me give you an overview that in a main.dart we don't have anything. We have the my app. So basically this is a main function which will be run whenever you open your app. Okay, and in a main we are using the run app. So I'm making this video very beginner friendly, so I'm going to explain everything step by step. And this is a new stateless widget. So basically if you are a Flutter background, then you should know about the stateless and stateful. I'm not going to deep dive into it, but stateless don't have any state management. Okay, so we cannot mutate state here, and stateful widget are where we can mutate the state. Okay, so it's just a static page, and here we are using the material app widget. Inside the material app widget, it provide all the thing. Okay, it have a home, it provide root, it provide theme. Okay, so that is another basic point that you should know about the material app before doing anything. Okay, first know about the stateless and stateful widget, then know about the material app. And third thing, in a home parameter we are providing our customized widget. So it's a custom widget, and basically it's a stateful widget. Okay, and this is a stateful widget where we can mutate our state. Okay, so this thing you also know. Okay, so here you will find that home page is a stateful widget, and in a stateful widget of the state of what we are doing, that we are using the scaffold, empty scaffold. And in a scaffold we can get a multiple thing. The first thing, you will get a app bar. So if you wanted to show a app bar, so you can use a app bar widget, and in a app bar you have multiple properties. Just for the sake of showing, I'm going to show a group chat app. Okay, and basically it's a static text. That's why linting is giving me a sign, that warning that it's a static text. So just use a constant before that. So I'm going to use the same, a const keyword before the static text. If I get this value, the group chat app, from a API or from somewhere else, which can be a dynamic thing, so we don't need to put this constant. Okay, now this is an app bar. Similarly, we have a body. We can add a bottom navigation bar. We can add a multiple thing inside our scaffold. So it's a basic building. It's a basic building block of the Flutter app development. Okay, so you should know about this material app thing, stateless and stateful widget, and apart from that you should know about the scaffold as well. So those are the basic. I am not going to go on that part because otherwise I will not complete the whole project in a limited hour. Okay, so that's the beauty, that we have provided our custom widget over here, and now we can start writing a code. So here we added an app bar. Similarly, the part you can see here, the left part, it's now going to assign to the body of the scaffold. So this is the app bar. Okay, now second part is the body. You can see all here. Okay, and in a body, what we are going to do, we are not going to use the container. So here you will see that we need to show a dialog box where you have to put your name and click enter, then you have to navigate into the group page screen. Okay, so what basically we will do, that we will going to add a button. Okay, as you saw in the intro video, that we will add a button, and after clicking on that button we will open the dialog box, and a person will give a name and click enter, then we will navigate it to the group screen. So let's do the same. So to add a button, a text button, we have a widget called guess the text button only. So if we wanted to add a button which just have a text, then we have a special widget called text button. In a text button we have a two thing. First thing is the on press, and second thing the child. So on press method will run when you click on that button. So basically it's event handler, okay, which will going to run after you will click on that button. And we have a child. In the child you can provide any widget. Okay, it's required parameter. So you can add any widget. I'm going to add a text only because we need to show a text button only. So initiate group chat. So I'm going to add this thing, and also this text have multiple property if you wanted to. So basically it have a style, and you can style the text in your own way. If you wanted to add a color to the text, you can add a color. So if I will add a colors.till, that color will going to apply over here. Basically I need to put a constant over here to remove the linting warning, because it's again will going to be a static text only. And apart from that, you can specify every thing of the text, like font size, font family, font style, everything you can specify over here. Okay, you can hover here and get to know about all the property available for the this particular text widget. Okay, for that you need to have the Flutter official package installed on your VS Code. The Flutter setup video is already there. You can find the video link on the description if you want, where I have showed you that what are the packages you need for basic Flutter development. Now you can see that it's here, it's not looking great, right? So what I will do, I wanted to put this thing button in a center of this whole body. So to put the thing in a center, we have another widget called center only. So that's the beauty of the Flutter, everything is sorted. So that button is came here. If I wanted to print something after clicking on this button, to just check that everything is working or not, then I can do that too. So if I will click here, the click will going to print on a debug console. So let me click here and you can find the click. Okay, so it's a basic, I'm showing all the basic thing for you. And now what we need to perform is we need to perform a dialog box. I mean, we need to show a pop-up after clicking on this button. So what we need to do is we need to use another method called show dialog. That is another method which Flutter provide us. Okay, so here you have to just call this show dialog, and you have a two parameter. First thing is the context and second thing is builder. Okay, and in the builder method, so it's a method of course, because if you hover over here, it will show you that it's a function which is a method, okay, which have a one parameter called builder, which have a type build context. So everything you will get over here after hovering on those parameters. So what is the type of that parameter? It's a build context, and you can use as a context only. And now after clicking on that part, I wanted to show alert box. So to show alert box, we have another widget called alert dialog. So everything is sorted on a Flutter, and in alert dialog, let's see what are the parameter we have. We have multiple parameter, but we need to use 2 or 3 parameter only. The first thing will going to be a title. So title, if you hover on a title, then you will get the type of the title. It's again a widget type. I'm going to use a text widget. So widget is a very basic building block of the Flutter. So everywhere you need to use either your own custom widget or widget provided by the Flutter. Okay, here I will put the title as a please enter your name. Again I will put alert dialog as a constant, because all the thing will going to be a static only. Second thing will going to be a content. Just like in a scaffold we have a body, similarly in a alert dialog we have a content. So anything we wanted to put in a mid of the box, we will put inside a content only. So I'm going to use a text form field, and in the text form field, what it does saying, it's giving error. Okay, so it's we need to remove this const from here, otherwise it will throw an error, because it's dynamic thing. We can add any dynamic text over here. So in a text form field, let's hit the save. And apart from that, if you see this diagram, we have a title, we have a text form field, then we have a button. So button can be anything, either a text button or either a normal button as well. I mean the button which have a border and all. I'm going to use again a text button only, and where we need to put that thing, we have another property called action. Inside the action you can put multiple buttons. I will show you, but let me just put a one button first, text button. And again here we will going to have a on press, and in a child let me put a text widget again, enter to chat room, or just enter, that will be sufficient. I will put a const, hit the save, and let's see that if I will click on that initiate group chat, what will happen. You can see that you can find a title which we added on a title parameter, and second thing is the text form field. Text form field is another widget. With help of that you can add a field here where you can type anything, just a text input thing. And the last thing is the enter button, which will handle our navigation from this screen to the group screen. Okay, so we have to work on this on press again, but first let me show you that you can add multiple action, just not a one action. You can add a multiple action over here. So you have saw some alert box where a user ask, we need a user confirmation on something like, are you wanted to navigate into this page? If the user click OK, then we navigate into that page, or if user click on a cancel, then we don't do anything. Similarly here also the same concept is there, and if you wanted to implement that kind of thing, you have to use the alert dialog widget. Okay, so this widget can take any kind of widget. We have a multiple widget. Text button is also a widget, text form field is also a widget, text is also a widget. So all the widget we have in Flutter, even the custom widget you can provide over here. Okay, so all can be acceptable over here. Okay, so we don't need as of now this to enter thing, so just let me remove it. And okay, so we have an enter button. I just wanted to increase the size of this enter button. With help of the text style we can increase the font size as well. So let me increase the font size to 18 maybe. And the one thing is that the hot reload will not work on this alert dialog, because the back screen is mounted and this is just a static kind of thing. So okay, so to see any kind of changes you are doing inside alert dialog, just press back and open it again. And enter is looking too big for me. I just wanted to change a color. Let me change a color to colors dot yellow accent maybe, or orange will be better. I don't know, I haven't decided the color code and all. And yeah, it came. Okay, so now we have this enter button and user can enter their name, and when we click on enter, we wanted to navigate into the next page. Okay, let's create a next page first. So I will going to create a new file over here, group page dot. In here what I will do, I will use the Flutter awesome snippet to create snippet of our Flutter code, a full widget, and it will be a group page. Okay, and the first thing is we have to import the material.dart package. Again I will use the Flutter awesome snippet. You will find all the setup thing in the video link which have in a description, the Flutter setup thing. Okay, and I need to put the const, and here instead of this container, let me use a scaffold, empty scaffold as of now. So this is our new screen. Okay, it is a group page and we wanted to navigate into the group page after we will click on enter. Okay. Okay, let's add another button as well. That will be a cancel button. Okay, let me put a cancel button. So if user don't wanted to initiate a chat, they can cancel it. Cancel, and let me name to, color to red, I guess. So okay, here we have a cancel, here we have the enter. So I just wanted to sweep, I wanted to have this enter after the cancel button. Okay, I don't know, the color coding is not really good, so what we will add green, and let's put this as a blue only. Okay, so enter and cancel, we have two things. And now let's work on this on place. Okay, when I will click enter, I wanted to navigate into the group page, and when I will click on a cancel, I wanted to stay in the same page. Okay, so right now if you click anyone, nothing will happen as of now. So let's write the code. Okay, first for the cancel, so when I will click on a cancel, I wanted to be in the same page. Okay, so it's a quick simple thing. To stay in the same page, we have to use the navigate dot pop. So anything related to the navigation we handle using this navigator class only. So navigator class have everything, so we just wanted to be in the same page, so we have to use the navigator dot pop, and also we need to provide the context as well. Okay, so we wanted to stay in the same page, so that's why we put the navigator.pop.context. So basically it will remove this alert dialog from the navigation stack. Okay, so that's why when we click on a cancel, that particular alert dialog is removed from the stack and we are not able to see it. But what if we wanted to go into the new screen? So we have a similar concept over here also. If we wanted to use, go into new screen, we will going to use a navigator class again, and we will going to put a new page on the navigation stack. Okay, so as of now in a navigation stack we have put this alert dialog, and we wanted to push another page on the navigation stack. So that's why to use that we need to use a navigator, a proper navigator dot push, and we need to provide a route, the route of the new page. So to use a route we have to use the material page route. Okay, here it's have again a builder method, we have to provide a context and the page name or a page class instance which we just created. So just like this, we first need to import this group page. Okay, and we need to add a semicolon over here. Okay, and if I will just go back, because we need to see the changes, and click it again, if I will click on enter, then we will navigate into the new page. The new page is the group page. Okay, so here we are not able to see anything as of now. Let's work on a group page. So now you know about the navigator thing, right? So here we can handle the navigation with help of the navigator class, and in a navigator it's kind of a stack only, where we can put a new, where we can push a new screen on the navigation stack, or we can pop a screen from the navigation stack. Okay, so we are in a new page called group page, and here let's add a first app bar. So if I will add a app bar, okay, and if I will add a title with a text widget group, or let's put the anonymous group. I will put again a const over here, hit the save, we got it, anonymous. Okay, my spelling is not too much good, so it's giving a spelling mistake. and here we got a here we got a back button. So if I will click on a back button, then we will go into the this screen, and you can see that as I told that we are maintaining a navigation stack, and when we click a alert dialog thing, then we put this alert box in that navigation stack. Okay, and when we go from this screen to the another screen, we have put a pushed a new screen on a navigation stack. So if you see the navigation stack, it have the first screen, and above that we have the alert box. Okay, and above that we have the group page. Okay, that's why what happened that when we click on this, so basically it perform the pop operation. So it pop out the group page from the navigation stack, and as you can see that the alert box we are still able to see because we haven't popped out this alert box from the navigation stack. So when we navigate from this screen to the group page screen, we wanted to pop out the alert box as well from the navigation stack. So whenever we will come back from this screen to the main page screen, we don't wanted to see this alert box again. So we have to do the same thing. If you are following me, you can just use this navigation.pop. So what it will do, it will first pop the alert box from the navigation stack. Okay, so basically first item of the navigation stack is the home page, second item of the navigation stack is the alert box, and third item of the navigation stack is the group page. We popped out this thing. Okay, then in a navigation stack we have a home page along with this alert box, and in the top we have the alert box. That's why we are able to see the alert box first. Okay, when we click on a cancel, then it will pop out and we are able to see the home page. So we need to do the same thing. When we click on enter, we wanted to pop out the alert box and we wanted to push a new item on a navigation stack. So first it will perform a pop. So right now, so first item is the home page and the second item is the alert box. When I will click enter, it will pop out the alert box. Okay, and push a new item called group page. So if I will hit the save first, okay, and to see any changes we need to do that thing and click enter, and if I will click back, then you will not able to see the alert box because we already pop out that alert box. Okay, so these are the very basic thing. I wanted to clarify each and every step. That's why I'm taking too much time to explain everything. Okay, so now let's go on a group page, and before we will go on a group page, actually I need to know about the username. That's why I have added this thing. Okay, this please enter your name thing. Okay, so let's maintain a state. So from here onwards we will going to maintain a state of the name. Okay, to maintain a state or to track what user type on a text box or text field, what we will going to do, we're going to create a controller for it. The controller is the text edit controller. Okay, so let's do a step by step thing. I will going to create a controller. I'm going to put a name as a name controller. I'm going to initialize that edit controller, text edit controller over here only. So it will basically, what it will do, it will create a text edit controller for us. It is required to attach, to know what user typing on this text form field. Okay, with help of this controller we can just know that what user typed over here. Okay, and how we will know about it. So every text form field, if you go, it have another property called controller, and we can assign the controller which we just created over here, and we can hit the save. Okay, now what we actually need to pass this name controller or name from this home page screen to the group page screen. Okay, so we are doing one by one. Okay, so if user will type anything over here, so let's do that if everything is working fine or not. So here in enter, when I will click on enter, let's print what user type on the text form field. So we have created the name controller, and name controller have the method called text. With help of this name controller dot text, we can track the data, the value typed by a user on this text form field. So to see any changes, I have to just pop out first. So basically when you click outside, so it performed the navigator.pop operation. That's why the alert box is popped out from the navigation stat. Okay, so suppose if I will type anything here, okay, and if I will go here and show you the debug console, and if I will click enter, then you find that the text I type on a text form field, we are able to see over here. Okay, so with help of this controller only, we are able to track down the text user typing on that text form field. And actually we will need this name of the user in the next page. So we are going to pass this name from this home page screen to the group page screen. But before doing that, we need to add a validation first. So we need to add a validation on the click of this enter button. So if user don't add anything, like not any name, and when we click on enter, then we should restrict a user to navigate to the group screen, because he or she haven't provided a proper name. Then how we can navigate from this home screen to this group screen, because we should a name to communicate with other, right? So let's add that validation, and how we will add that validation. So to add a validation, so we have a property called validator on a text form field. So where is the text form field? Let me find out. So here we have a text form field, and text form field along with the controller parameter have an additional parameter called validator. Validator is a function. If you hover over here, you can see that which have one parameter called a value, which have a data type string. Okay, so let's do that first. So this is a validator function, and it have one parameter which give us a string, and actually the user will type anything that will going to assign to this value parameter. Okay, so here we can add a validation. Okay, so if value is null, means user haven't typed anything. Suppose user haven't typed anything and default value of value is null. So or otherwise, if value dot length is less than 3, suppose if user just type AB, so AB is not proper name, right? Then also we will show a user error message. So just follow me. All the thing will automatically take care by the Flutter only, the error message and showing a red box and all. I will give a error message, user must have proper name. Okay, and if our validation is success, and value length is greater than 3, so we don't want it to show any kind of error message. So by default we have to return null. Okay, so we have added this validation on our text form field, and if I will go back and even click here, nothing will happen as of now. Why nothing is happen? Because we have to trigger this validation on click of the enter. Okay, and how we will trigger this validation on click of enter? So to trigger this validation, we need to create a key for it. Okay, and to create a key, we are using a global key class, and it's a generic. You can think generic as a data type, custom defined data types. Okay, and we will cover that part later in another videos, but just know that we have just created a key. Okay, and to apply that key, we need to wrap this text form field with another widget called form. Okay, because with help of this form widget, we can track down all the data input fields irrespective of its text input field, radio, checkbox, or anything, we can track it down if we wrap all the field inside the form widget. And form widget have a property called key, and we just have to assign the key we just created. So all the validation or anything will going to track by this form key, because we have wrapped this text form field. If you have a multiple text form field also, we can track all the validation and all the thing with help of this key after wrapping all the thing inside the form widget. So we have a form key, and let's use this form key to trigger the validation. And how we will trigger the validation? We wanted to trigger the validation when we click on enter. So let's go over here. Okay, so suppose I'm going to write a validation, triggering the validation, form key dot current state dot validated. So when we will click on this enter button, then this method will going to be called, and we will call this form key current state dot validate. Basically it will do the validation for us, and I just need to put a null check operator to remove that error. Okay, and it will just give us a true and false. So basically it will call the validation stuff, and if the thing is validated, then it will give a true, and if the validation fail, like this check will fail, then it will give us a false. So we need to do one thing, that if everything will go fine, then only we wanted to navigate from this screen to the another screen. Okay, so I will put here and let's check. Okay, so if I will click here on enter, then we are able to see that message which we added. Okay, so we have added user must have a proper name. That message we can see because validation failed, and that's why, because the validation failed, it will become a false, and we are not able to navigate from the home screen to the group screen. So that's the beauty of the Flutter. Everything is handled by them if we follow the proper steps. Now let's add a name ABC, and let's check that we are able to navigate from home screen to the group chat screen or not. Yeah, we are able to navigate from the home screen to the group chat screen, which means it's fine. Also I saw that after coming back here, you can see the still the name we put earlier. So let's clear it out. Whenever we navigate, if the validation completed, I wanted to clear out the name, but first I need to pass the name from this screen to the new screen. For that, what I will do, I will create a string name equal to name we will get from the user. Okay, and then I will use this controller and I will just clear it. Okay, so this thing. Similarly, I wanted to do the same thing when we click on a cancel. After clicking on a cancel, when we do the pop, I wanted to clear it. Otherwise, if I will cancel and come back again, we tap earlier, that thing we are still able to see. So if I will cancel and again cancel to see the changes, then you will find that the name we earlier typed here, that is gone. Okay, okay, similarly here we got the name reference, and if I will add just one thing, then we will get a error. We will add three things, then we are able to navigate, and this screen work is completed. Now we have to work on the group screen, and for that we need a name we just have here. Okay, we have to pass this name from the home screen to the group screen, because we will going to use it for further process. And how we will pass something from one screen to the another screen? What we just need to do, we have to go here, and here we need to add a new variable called name. We are passing a screen, we are passing a parameter from one page to the another page. and I will go here, this dot name, and I will put a required, because without name I don't want it to come from that screen to this screen. Okay, and I will going to hit the save. And now we need to pass a name. We just got from here, remove the const keyword, hit the save. Now we are passing name from the home screen to the group screen, and let's see that we are passing name correctly or not. So what I will do, I will just do one quick thing, that let's go and add a body of this scaffold. In body of the scaffold, let's put a text box just to check that we are getting a name correctly or not. I will use the widget dot name. So basically when we pass something from state, I mean from one screen to the another screen, and if we are a stateful widget, we will get in a parent class. Okay, we will get that name parent class. But if you wanted to access that thing in our state class, we have to use the widget keyword first, then after we have to use the variable which we wanted to access. Okay, so let's go, let's initiate a chat. I will put Balram, I will enter. Okay, let me just refresh the page first. I will do the same thing, Balram, enter. Then you can see that the text widget came, and here you can see that the name we passed from this screen to this screen came properly, and now we can use this name, okay, anywhere if we want. So before doing anything, let's structure our screen in a way like we decided. So what we need to do, that we have a app bar, and also what we need to have is the whole body, and in the whole body we will put a text user sent and all the text user get from the other user, and we need to have a text form field, I mean text input field, where we can put a new message, and we need to have a send button. So let's implement that thing and complete the UI first, then we will integrate with the SocketIo. So to create a layout, we need to use a column widget. Why I'm going to use a column widget? So basically, if you use a column widget, okay, so let me just use a column widget. It have a children property, and it will group together the multiple widget together in a way that things will come in a row wise. I mean, if you take an example of the table, we have a rows and we have a columns. Rows come vertically and columns come horizontally one by one. So if you use a column widget, and if you just put your own widget or any widget provided by the Flutter, it will come one by one as a row wise, like this, one by one as a row wise in a vertical way. Similarly, if you use a column widget, I mean in a row widget, things will come one by one in a horizontal way, like a column of a table. Okay, so things are different in a Flutter. If you use a row, things will come one by one in a horizontal way, like we put a data in a column of the table. Similarly, if we use a column, things will come one by one in a way like row of the table. Okay, so why I'm using a column, I have a justification for it. If you see here, so we have a basically two things over here. The first thing is this whole body part, okay, where we need to list out all the chats of your own or the chats you will get from other user. And the second thing is this part, and in this part you will find that we have a text form field and we have the icon button. Okay, so to group together this part and this part, we need to use a column widget. Okay, and we'll use it in a way. So let's start writing the code, then you will get understand. I'm going to use a expanded widget. I will let you know about expanded widget soon. Okay, just don't worry, I'm going to use expanded widget. And let's use an empty container as of now. Container is also a widget. Okay, I will let you know about the expanded widget this part later. Okay, and the first widget of this part I have just added, and let's think about the second widget, the second children of the column. It will going to be a row, because you can see that we have to group together two different widget. First widget is a text form field, and the second widget is the actually a icon button. Okay, I mean a button which have the icon. For that I'm going to use a row. Okay, and row also have a children. You just saw the first children will going to be a text form field. Okay, and the second children will going to be a icon button. Icon button is a similarly a text button which have a on press method, which is an event handler when we click on that particular icon, and it have a second property called icon, which generally take any kind of widget like text, container, or anything which you want, but generally we prefer to give the icon widget only. So we have another widget called icon, and we can use any material icon by like this. We have to use the icons dot the name of that widget. Okay, I mean the name of that icon. So we are using the send icon which have this kind of layout, and if I will hit the enter, probably you will get a error. Why we are getting an error here in a debug console? That we need to provide a proper height of this text form field or proper width of this text form field, then only it will provide a width of this icon button. Okay, so we have to provide some kind of a height or width to this text form field, and I don't want it to restrict this text form field like I don't want it to provide a mean or max width of this text form field. What I wanted to do, that I wanted to provide some width of this icon button, and rest of the width of the screen I wanted to provide to the text form field. And how I will going to do that? So we don't need to do anything, we just have to wrap this text form field with another widget called expanded. So the same expanded we have used here, and what the expanded will do, it will give all the width of the screen to this text form field which is left after doing the expanded, I mean after taking by the icon button widget. So let me just hit the Control S, then you will know what I'm exactly meaning. So let me just add some padding. And how we will add a padding, just we have a padding widget as well, and here we can use padding to all. If I will hit the save, then you will see that here the text form field is came. Okay, let me use another matrix for it. So I'm going to use a symmetric, and symmetric have a horizontal padding, so it will add a padding left and right side in a horizontal way. I'm going to put 15, and we have a vertical padding which will add a padding in a top and a bottom in a same number. So I'm going to use 20, and if I will hit the save, then you will find that we have added a text form field, and it is taking the width which is left after using the icon button. So if I will just remove an icon button from here, it will take the whole width of the screen, because icon button have a certain width and padding. So after taking a space of the icon button, the space is left in width wise of the screen is taken care by the text form field, because we have wrapped it in an expanded widget. That's why this whole thing came into the down. Okay, so if this is a row, okay, and it has some certain height, okay, so we have used a expanded widget. So similarly, like here, expanded widget, with help of this expanded widget we took all the left width of the screen. Similarly here also, inside a column, if you use a expanded widget, it will take the whole height which is left after taking the another widget. Okay, so in a row, if you use expanded widget, it will take all the width left of the screen after taking the another widget. Similarly, if you use a expanded inside a column, it will take all the height available after taking the other widget. Okay, so this is a thing of the expanded widget. I wanted to work on the text form field first, so let's use a decoration. Let's use an input decoration. Okay, so in input decoration we have a border, outline border. So we have a error border, focus border, or disable border. So we need to use a focus border or enable border. Okay, so let's use a enable or simply a border. I'm going to use outline input border first. And in outline input border we have two things. We have border radius and border side, and let me use a border side first. So just bear me some time, I will explain everything over here. And border radius also have a parameter called width. I'm going to provide a width too. If I will hit the save, then you will see that border is applied on this text form field. Okay, all the things, we are getting a linting issue, we have to put a const over here. Similarly, we have to put a const over here to remove the linting issue. And if we wanted to apply prettier, then add a comma, so it will look nice. Okay, so what I just did, text form field actually have a decoration parameter, and we can use an input decoration. Okay, and with help of the input decoration we can add actually a border in a text form field. And to add a border, we need to use a border. Okay, we have multiple borders, so it's a border. Okay, and if I will type here, then so it's a border applied to the text form field. And sometime we will get an error, like here we will get some kind of error. So if we wanted to apply a border when we will get an error, for that we have an error border as well. Okay, I'm not going to go and cover all the part, but let's think that we wanted to apply a border and we got the border. Okay, and if I will focus, the border color is changed. And that's why if you wanted to control on a focus what kind of border you wanted to apply, then we have a focus border as well. So let's not go into deep on that part. Now we have a text form field, we have a button, and we are sorted out. Okay, and actually let's add some color to this button. We can apply a color. I wanted to add a color as a colors dot teal, colors dot teal. So it got some color. So actually I wanted to add a placeholder. So to add a placeholder as well, we have a helper text, or we can add a label as well. So okay, we have a hint text, and hint text is just take a string. So we don't need to put a text widget over here. We can put string type here, hit the save, then you will find that is applied over here. We can change the border color, but let's keep it like that only. We have one input box, and we have a send button, and after clicking on a send button we will show that message over here. Okay, just like we have in a WhatsApp. So if I will click on a send button, I wanted to see that message first, and then I will wanted to see other messages too. Okay, so let's do that, and let's connect this whole thing with the SocketIo. Okay, first we will going to connect with the SocketIo part, then we will come into the showing the all the message part. Okay, so let's do that. So before doing any kind of connection with the front end, we need to implement the backend first. Okay, so we need to implement our socket server things in our backend first, then only we can connect with the front end. Okay, so we are using the node.js, okay, for creating our backend. And as we already talked that we are going to use a SocketIo, so here you will find that in our package.json file. So basically you need a node.js, how to install the node.js. You will find the video link in the description, and how you will set up your node.js project, that too you can find in the description as well, that how you can set up all those things. Okay, I'm not going to cover everything, but let me just give you a overview the packages I'm using the Express package, which is responsible for creating a REST API. I'm installed the Mongoose as of now. So as of now we will not going to use it, but I have installed it because at later point of time, if I wanted to connect this whole setup with the database called MongoDB, so we have to make an interaction between this JavaScript to the MongoDB thing. So to make that interaction, we need this Mongoose package. We will deep dive into that part later if we wanted to implement that database connection thing. Okay, to run a development server, I'm using a nodemon. So what basically nodemon do, if we make any small changes, it will, you will see this log, it will automatically rerun the thing, and all the thing will be refreshes and hot reloaded. Okay, here, so that's why I'm using a nodemon. And the last thing is the SocketIo. So to implement a socket server, we need to install the SocketIo package. Okay, I'm using the 4.5.1 server. So basically it will implement a socket server. We have a socket client, and we have a socket server. Socket client we will going to use on our front end part, and socket server we will going to use in our backend part. Okay, so these are all the dependency, and you have to use node installed and all the packages name, or you will find all these thing in a setup repository, GitHub repository, and you just have to clone it, and you just have to use the npm install. Okay, so if you use npm install, then automatically you will install all the packages. Okay, then we just created an index.js file, and in the index.js file here I have provided that index.js as a main. Okay, and here we have a script. We are using the nodemon as a dev. So to run this server, what I'm doing, I'm using a npm run dev, that because I have provided a script called dev over here, and to run that script I'm using the npm run dev, and it will run the nodemon thing. Okay, wait, yeah, so it will start the nodemon thing. Okay, and it will run our index.js file. If I will go on an index.js file, I'm not doing a great thing. I mean, all are easily acceptable. Like we have an express package which we imported over here. We also have a http package which is provided by the node.js. We don't need to install that thing if you are using a node.js, so automatically it comes with the node.js. And we have imported this server because we wanted to create a SocketIo server, so we have imported the server from this SocketIo package. What we did that to use Express.js, first we need to create a Express.js instance. So we just created this instance, and to create any HTTP server, we need to create a server and provide the Express.js instance which we just created, and it will just bound the Express.js with the normal HTTP server of the Node.js. Okay, and the last thing is we just created an instance of our uh, socket server and provided this HTTP server, so it will connect the HTTP server to our socket server. So for that, I will highly recommend you to know about what is WebSocket, what is the polling. Okay, and that video link you will get in our description as well. The difference between the normal client server protocol and polling and the WebSocket fundamental. Okay, that video you will find in the description. Please watch that to understand whole backend logic. Okay, and now what we did, that to just see that everything is working fine or not, I just created a route and get method. So what are the HTTP method? You will also get to know on a video link in the description. So these are the very basic thing you should know about it. So I'm just perform a get method over here. If you don't wanted to learn, just you can skip it. I just added because I wanted to see that our server is working fine or not. Basically if you hit a localhost 3000 when you run your server, it will give this message, hey there, welcome again on DevStack channel, because I have added this code and I'm sending a response from the backend server, this response. Okay, and this is a part we need to deal with. Okay, so just forget about this thing if you don't want it to deep dive about the Express.js and whole backend thing. We just wanted to deep dive in this SocketIo part. Okay, so this is the thing we wanted to concentrate. Okay, here we will going to put our logic which will help us to create a group chat server. Okay, so we will come into this part and start writing our logic. Okay, but before that, to run a server, we are running that HTTP server on a 3000 port. That's why when I hit this 3000 port, I mean localhost 3000 port, then I'm able to see the message which I have added over here. Okay, so now we can use this 3000 port or localhost 3000 thing in our front end, and we can communicate with the SocketIo part. Okay, because SocketIo is now connected with our HTTP server. Okay, so let's write our own logic over here. Okay, we'll go through the documentation as well to get more clarification. Okay, so as backend setup is completed, we can start working on a front end as well. So this is a SocketIo server. Similarly, we need to create a SocketIo client in our front end side as well. So basically, if I will give you an example, like if we have a 3 user and both of the 3 user install our app, then there will be 3 SocketIo client, but the server will going to be one only. So suppose person, I mean there is ABC and there is now 3 client A, client B, client C. Suppose client A want to send a message. So first the message will go to the server, I mean from client A SocketIo client to the server, and now our server will send that message to the client B and client C. So this is things work in a SocketIo. We have a SocketIo server and we have a SocketIo client as well. So what we need to do basically right now, we need to install a package. And what package we need to install? We need to install the SocketIo client package in our Flutter-App to connect this Flutter-App to the SocketIo server. Okay, and similar thing I already did on our WhatsApp clone. Okay, but that is a long series, you have to watch all of that thing. Okay, but yeah, here what we need to do is we need to install first a SocketIo client, and as per the documentation you will see that if we have a SocketIo server which have a version greater than 3, then we have to install SocketIo client version 2. And if you go on a package.json file of our Node module, then you will find that we have a SocketIo server of version 4. So we can directly install the SocketIo client of version 2. We have to go on a pubspec.yaml file, and after Cupertino, we have to add SocketIo client and hit the Control S. Basically, when I will hit a Control S, Flutter pub get run, and it will install the dependency on our Flutter project. But for your case, if Flutter pub get will not run automatically, please go on a terminal and put command Flutter pub get. It will install the package. The next thing will going to be a initiate or create an instance of our SocketIo client. Okay, so if you go here, then you will find that first we need to import the package in our project. So let me first import a package. Okay, so after importing a package, what we need to do is we need to create an instance of our SocketIo client. And how we will do that? Okay, so but before I will go there, what I'm going to say that every state class have one override method called init state, and that init state will run when the page is mounted. Suppose this is a group page, and if I will go from home page to group page, okay, so let me just print something over here. If I will go from here to here, then without calling this method, it is automatically called whenever this page is mounted. You can see that OK message. Okay, so this is a place where we have to initialize the things. Okay, so we have to initialize our SocketIo client in our Flutter-App. So what I will going to do, first I'm going to create a method called connect. Okay, I will put initialization code over here. Don't worry, I will explain everything why I am doing this thing, and I will call this connect method. So basically what will happen, this init state will automatically being called whenever the page is mounted, and this init state will call our connect method we just created, and in the connect method we are going to put all the code which will going to initialize the SocketIo client. But before it will initialize a SocketIo client, first we need to create a instance of the SocketIo client class. So I'm going to create an instance, and because of the null check, I'm going to add a question mark, and here I have added a epsilon mark to handle the null safety thing. Okay, so let's deep dive into this, that what I'm doing here. As you saw that our server, which is a SocketIo server, is running on a 3000 port on a local host. You can see it over here. Okay, our client is running, our server is running on a 3000 port on a local host. So if you wanted to run on some particular IP address, then you can run on that particular IP address too, and you have to just put that IP address or exact server address to here to connect with your SocketIo server. Okay, so this is a place where you have to put your server address. So as of now, my server is running on a localhost 3000 port. So this instance which we already created, and we have initialized over here with IO, which we imported. So we have imported SocketIo client as io.io, which will help you to connect with the backend server, SocketIo server, provide the address and provide the additional props, additional parameter, which will help you to connect with the SocketIo server. So this thing you must provide, otherwise many times it will not connect to the SocketIo server. I have figured out this code while working on a WhatsApp chat clone. To put this thing, it is mandatory for a Flutter app, then only sometime it work. Okay, so this is the initialization of your socket object. Once it is initialized and got all the detail that where it need to connect, what are the additional property, we have to use the WebSocket, auto connect is false, then we have to manually connect with help of the socket.connect. It will try to connect with the backend manually. Okay, let me just remove this thing. And once it will connect, then we are having one method, it's event method. Okay, so whenever it will connect to the backend, I mean it will just trigger a event that will try to connect the front end to the backend. Okay, but this is exactly the thing. Once we will get to know that yeah, we connected to the backend, then this method will going to run. Okay, so it will initiate a process to connect with the backend, and once it will connect it to the backend, this onConnect method will run, and we can print anything. Okay, this emit, we will work on this emit later, but let me just remove it as of now. Okay, so whenever it will connect properly with backend, then we are printing connected into front end. Okay, similarly you can see the same kind of thing. Okay, here in a backend that it have a io.connection. Connection is an event, it's a predefined event. We can have our own events too, like here we are using socket emit, message is an event name. So similarly connection is an event name which is predefined, which is used by the SocketIo. Okay, like we have some predefined key or something which we can't use for our own purpose in a languages too. Similarly, we have a predefined event on a SocketIo. That connection is one of them that we cannot use as our own event. Okay, I will tell you later part that what is exactly an event once we will do the demo. But yeah, so similarly here we have a connection. So once the connection is established, then I wanted to log something backend connected. So we now have a two thing. Once if the connection is established, then I wanted to print something on a backend, and at the same time I am printing on a front end if the connection of both the end is established. So let's see, right now it will not work because init state runs once whenever the page is mounted, which is already run. That's why we printed the OK. To see in action, let me refresh the page. Let's go again. Let's put the name Balram. If I will enter, then you can see that here connection into front end, connected into front end message is printed, which means the front end is connected to the backend SocketIo. If I will go on a backend part also, then you will see that we got this message, which means both the end are connected successfully. Okay, now we can think that how we will going to send a message from this end, I mean front end in to the backend end. At least we got a connection. Okay, so to do that, we are getting this socket instance on here. Okay, similarly we have a socket instance here to use to send something from front end to the back end. Similarly we have a socket instance here which will send something from back end to the front end again. Okay, so let's do step one by one. Okay, so here I just have a test emit which I just commented, and we have to, it's event name. Okay, it have a true property. First thing is event name, and second thing is the thing you wanted to send. So here it is dynamic, you can send anything, even you can send an object from here to that end, or you can send a string, you can send a number, anything. So here I will going to define a event. Remember, you cannot use the same event name which is predefined by the SocketIo. We have to use our own custom event. So let me see, send message. Suppose this is our event name and I wanted to send test emit event. Okay, so this is our message. Okay, or I can send my name also. I mean the name which we will get from there, I mean from there to here. Okay, let come to that part later. So we are going to send this message from front end to the back end. Okay, and similarly we have a socket instance. So we are emitting this message on a send message event. Okay, so in the backend also we have to listen the same event. Okay, so how we will do that? So let me just show you that first. And here we have to use the socket. Okay, and we have to use the socket.on, and socket.on have again two things. First thing is the event name which we are sending from here. So let me use the same event. Okay, and it have a callback function. Okay, so we are emitting this event, send message event, and we are sending this text from the front end. The socket.on, what it will do, it will listen on a same event and it will log out message which we are getting. Here is message, we are getting the message, and let's hit the save, and backend is connected. Again the message is printed, and yeah, this is a init state and init method. So let's refresh the app again, or we can go back over there and enter front end is connected. Let's go on a backend that we got that message or not. And here you can see that we got that message. Here is message test emit event. Okay, so here is message, this is the text, and message which we sent from the front end was test emit event. Okay, that we got here. So this is the way we send a message from the front end to the back end. We have to use emit, and we have to listen on that event. Okay, and I mean of course print it out or do whatever we want. So socket, I mean we can, here we will use a socket.emit again to send the same message from front end to the back end. Okay, but yeah, let's not do that thing. Okay, we will verify that how we will send something from server to the front end. Okay, but before we will implement anything, let's handle this send button. Whenever we will send something, we need to use this socket.emit to send message from front end to the back end. So instead of calling it on an init state, we have to call it when we will click on this send button. Okay, so I'm going to create a new method, void send message. Okay, or you can call it as you want. Parameter I will get will going to be type have a string message. Okay, and instead of using over here, let's use it over here, and let's use the same event name. And here I'm going to send a object, okay, which have a type user. Oh, here we have to use that braces type as a own message, which message I wanted to send, and it have a second type as what we will call message we are getting. So this is a custom method which we are going to call all the time. And also we need to maintain a list of messages which we wanted to send. Okay, so let's create a list list message which will going to have a list. Okay, and here we're going to put all the messages, and we can either create a object. So let's create a model for it, message model. Okay, basically I'm going to create a structure that what are the thing will be there. Okay, I mean you will get to know here. I'm going to create a class message model. First thing is the string. The name of the variable will going to be type. Okay, and it is a required, or we will not put here, just be here string message, and we will going to use this message model. It will have a this dot message, this dot type, and it should be a required parameter, required, not it, and required. So this is a kind of a structure what we will going to send to the front end and what we will going to receive from the back end. Okay, so it is a kind of structure. So our list will going to have a same structure as it have. So message model is a list of that structure of data. So it have a two thing, type can be own message or other message, and the message which we are sending from front end or message we will going to receive from the back end. It's a structure of our a message thing which we will going to store. So like we have a schema on a database, that schema name, what will be the column name, something. Similarly we created a schema, okay, to each down our work. Okay, so instead of saying this whole thing, okay, it will be have a type own message and message, and let's try to call this send message when, okay, also we will put name as well. Okay, I will add a third thing called sender, string sender, because we need to show that name as well, right? And it is also a required parameter, this dot sender. So here I'm going to send a sender, which will going to be a sender. We will going to send a sender name as well. Sometime I use TypeScript, so sorry for that. Sender which we are getting. So it is an object type. Okay, so here you can see that we are sending an object. What is the type? It's our own message because we are sending from our end to the server. Message which we are sending from here to there, and sender name. So let's change the name, sender name, so it will be more easily readable, sender name. Okay, and let's call this send message method when we click on this icon button. So basically I have changed the orientation of the icon button. Instead of having that button in other part, I have added it over here, and actually here we have that suffix icon button, and inside the icon button only we will going to need to call that method send message. And send message need to accept two property. First property is the message, and second property is the widget dot name, which we are getting from the last screen to this screen. And here we need to send the exact message which we type over here. So as we are using a text form field, we already discussed that to track down what user typing on text form field, we need to create a controller for it. So let's go and create a controller. It will going to be a text edit controller. I will name it as a message controller, text edit controller. So basically I just created a message controller and I put a underscore before that name, which means I created a private variable. Okay, so you have heard the private and public concept on a Java or object-oriented programming. So it is the same. I just created a private variable which is private for this class only. And here in a text form field, we have a controller property as we already discussed. I need to assign it, and here I have to just use dot text. Okay, that's great. So everything we did as of now, let's test here that are we able to get a message properly or not. So let's change the log message. Okay, so if I will type hey there, if I will click enter, it will call send message, and yeah, we are able to get that message from front end to the back end. It have a type on message, and it's have a hey there message which we type on a text box, and the sender name which we send from here to that end, which means everything is working fine. Let's go further, and what we will do that we need to clear a text once we will send a message. So how we will do that? We have to use the same message controller, and we have to use dot clear to clear out the text which we sent. So if I will click here again, after that the message is gone, but we got here. And if I will click here again, right, so what will happen that we will get a empty message. Okay, why we are getting it? Because even though we haven't typed anything, we are calling this on press method. Okay, so what I will do basically, if message controller dot text, or I can add message. Okay, if message dot length is greater than 0, then only we will going to call this method, otherwise we will not going to call it. And all the places using the same thing, I can do it like that. Okay, so if I will hit here, it should not call again, but if I will add some message, then we will got that message. Okay, so now we are not sending an empty string from the front end to the back end. That's great, by the way. And why we are getting this thing? Oh, we can use is not empty. Okay, let's use that thing. So this is a new thing. Flutter is adding new feature. I mean Dart is adding new feature. Okay, it's not message dot length. What it does saying is it is not defined type, so like that. Okay, message is not empty. Let's test the feature again. We have some message, we got it here, we have an empty string, we're not calling that method. Okay, which means send is working fine. What about the receiving the same message? So we need to listen the event. Okay, so right now from the backend we are not sending any kind of event. Okay, we are not emitting any kind of event, so let's do that too. So we are getting message as this format. Okay, and now what we need to do, whenever I will send a message, I wanted to emit it. Okay, so let's use the socket instance first. Socket dot emit, we need to emit on a event. So let's define a event send message server. So here the naming convention is really sucks, don't think about that, you can come up with your own name for the event. And here let's send the same thing, just only I wanted to override one thing. So basically what I'm doing, I'm just copying the whole thing, okay, the whole thing over here. I will just log it, then you will get to understand. So this is a spread operator of on a JavaScript. It will copy all the object which we got, and what I exactly do that I wanted to change the type. So here is the type. I wanted to change it to the other message, like that type. Okay, so as of now I haven't connected the second mobile, that's why the message I will send from this emulator, I'm going to receive the same message, and later point of time we will try to we will try to change it in our way. Okay, so what message test event something. Okay, so that thing, let's don't bother about that. Let me just send a hey there. Okay, and what if I will send it, then what we will get from a backend. So this is the message we got, and this is the second thing which I just did. What I did, I copied the same message, I just override the type. Now I change the type from own message to the other message, and I am emitting it. Okay, after overriding the object which I got from the front end, I am emitting it on this event. Why I did that, I wanted to track that which is my message and which is other message. So whenever I will send something from the front end, I will send it as a own message, and I will put it in the list which just created. Okay, so whenever I will send, I will push it. Okay, so let me just first create a object. Okay, so it will be a type of message model. Okay, message, own message, variable name is own message, don't confuse with this type. Okay, so I have this thing, and what exactly I need to do, I need to use it as a message model and provide own message as not on a type. I have to provide own message. I have to provide the message I am getting, and I need to provide the sender name. That's it. And let me use it over here as an object only, and I want to push it on the list of message. Why I'm doing this thing? I'm doing this thing because I wanted to show same thing, okay, in a UI. Okay, so whenever we will send something, I wanted to show it on a UI. So we need to track down all the messages we sent or all the messages we got from the other user. That's why I have created a list message, okay, where we will put anything we will send message from here or we will get from the other source. I just hit the save, so it will just add a message on our list. Okay, and why I added this type, I wanted to track down that which is our own message. If it is our own message, then we need to show it on a right side, and if it is other message, then we need to show it on a left side. Okay, and sender name, you know that we need to show each of user name, like we have a group chat in a WhatsApp. So all of this thing we are doing because of that only. So you got to know that I override the type over here, so I'm just removing it for. Okay, and now we have this event which we are sending from the server, and we have to listen it on our front end side. And where we will listen it, we will going to listen it inside the on connect method. So after connecting it, we will going to listen an event socket dot on. Okay, the same thing we did, right? We did the same thing here to listen a event. We will going to do the same thing. It will have a two parameter. First parameter is the event name and second parameter is the callback. It's giving an error. The argument type map dynamic function can't be assigned to the, okay, we have to use a message, and let not use this thing. Okay, so here first let print that are we getting that message properly or not. If we are getting that message from the backend, then we will going to add that to in our list so we can show it. Okay, and let's refresh the app once. I guess you got all the idea. I will explain it again here. Okay, so now first it will try to connect with the backend. Once it will connected, then it will start listening on this send message server event. Okay, and when we click something from here, hey there, so what it will do, it will send a message because we are calling this thing on our onPress event handler. So it will send a message with this thing and we will add it on our local state so we can show it on our UI. Okay, so once I will click here, basically it will send here, and then we need to get it on the send message server event which we are listening over here. Okay, so I have printed, but you can see that we got some error. What exactly error we got? Actually we got the message from the backend to the front end, but it is giving a error is not okay. Okay, so basically it is giving a error because the type which we are getting, it's a dynamic type. Okay, so basically it have a dynamic type and we wanted to add it on our list message. That's why it's giving an error. So what I will do, I will not going to create any JSON string something. I will going to use our message model to format it in a proper way. So this is our message we wanted to access. So basically you can see that this is our message, right? So it is kind of dynamic. So I wanted to access message from the message object. Similarly, I wanted to access type from our message object, and I wanted to access sender name from our message object. So I get to access each of the thing by this, like this. Okay, I'm not created any JSON formatter or something, so it will going to work. Okay, so I mean basically it is giving an error because this format and the format we declare here, it have a different format. That's why it was giving the error. Hopefully it will resolve. So let me just refresh the page. Hey, no, not hey, here Balram, enter. Let me say hey there, let me click here. Then yeah, we haven't got any error because we converted the dynamic format. Okay, so it's have a dynamic format to our message model format, and we have added on our list. Okay, so either you can do like this, first create an object, then add it like this, or otherwise you can directly use it like this only. Okay, so yeah, now we can send a message and receive a message. What about showing the message on our UI? So to show a message on our UI, what we need to do is we need to create two different custom widget. The first widget will going to handle to show it on a right side, and the second widget will going to handle to show it on a left side. Okay, so let's do that. Let's first go on our foundation and let's put what we call message widgets, and own message widget will be going to be a widget which we wanted to show this side, and there will be a second other message widget. The message we will get from the other user we will show here. Okay, so for that, what we will going to do first, let's work on our own message widget. Let's use import material.dart package, and let's create a stateless widget, because we just need to have a static data. We don't need to manage any kind of state over here, so it will going to be a stateless widget. If we wanted to manage something, okay, on state change or something, then we should, like, we need to use some init state and all. We will not get the same thing on our stateless widget, because its stateless widget don't have an init state. Okay, it will throw an error, and here we have the init state. Okay, so stateful widget have their own perks. A stateless widget, if you wanted to show just a static thing, like we just wanted to show our message, then we don't need to manage all the stateful related things. So we can create a stateless widget for that, and let's give the name own message widget. I have to use the same thing over here, and yeah, it is a container. What we need to do here, actually we need to show a card. So let's go here, let's use a child, and we have a card, and for the sake, let's do it on a little baby step. I will provide a width 300, and in a card we have a child, and in a child let's use a column, so you know about the column, and let's use a children, let's use a text data. So we will going to do a baby step thing. So we have a own message widget we just created, we don't know anything about it, and I will going to use it on a home page, on a group page actually. And where we will going to use it, we will going to use it on here, the expanded widget which we just created. We need to use it over here. So what we will going to do, if you see the diagram, then you will know that it's a column. You can see that, okay, all the messages come one by one, right? But it's not. The column widget will give a error, and what kind of error it will give, let's see. If we use a column widget, then what will going to happen? If we have a children, if I will create a text, I'm giving you an example. Okay, so this is our first children, and if I will just copy this thing, like maybe a lot of time, okay, a lot of time, then okay, haven't got any error yet. So basically if I will add more, then you will see that we are getting error. What error we are getting? We are getting overflow error. Okay, so because of this thing, we cannot use a column widget as of now. So what we can use instead of this column widget, so we cannot use a column widget, otherwise we will get a error message. So what is the next widget we will going to use? So basically it is a list, okay, which we can scroll. Okay, in a WhatsApp you can see that we can scroll it. Okay, similarly we have to create same kind of behavior over here, and for that we have list view. Okay, so list view is another widget where you can create a scrollable list like a column instead of overflowing, you can create your own scrollable list. Okay, let me show you how it will work. I'm going to use this own message, which is our custom widget, as a first child of this list view, and going to hit the save. So this is came. It is not looking good, it's ugly right now, but yeah, let's deal with that thing. And suppose if I will have more data, if we hit the save, maybe let's go there and copy it multiple times and see what is the behavior of our list view. So here you can see that we can scroll it. Okay, we can scroll it in a way, okay, it is not overflowing. So that's the beauty of the list view. So we are going to use the list view, okay, as of now. And now let's start working on our this part of code where we need to show a card, just like the WhatsApp. Okay, and let me tell you about the container. Container is a widget where we can provide width of that container, but it is not taken yet. And card, some kind of card, if you wanted to implement, you can use your own card widget. And card widget have a child property, and child can be any kind of widget. Okay, along with this, card also have a color property as well, so we can use your colors dot till to provide color of this card. So it got some color. Along with that, card have a padding, I guess, content padding, something was there. Okay, what are the thing it have? Okay, it's don't have a padding, it have shape. Okay, also it have a margin, so we don't need a margin. And here we got it right. And here I wanted to add a padding widget first to provide some padding between all the places. Let me provide a symmetric padding which have a horizontal 20 and vertical padding as 20. Hit the save. So our card is kind of increased, so instead of 10, let me put it as a 10. Okay, and now the second thing is why I'm using the column. I'm using a column because I wanted to have two things. First thing will going to be name of the sender, and the second thing will going to be a message of a sender, which either we will send or we will get from the backend. Okay, and third thing is we need to align this whole thing in a right side. Not we don't want to take whole card to take whole width of this screen. And how we will do that? To do that, what we exactly need to do is we need to wrap this whole widget in another widget called align. So we have a special widget called align, which will help us to align our widget according to what we want. So it can align to bottom center, okay, or it can align to bottom left, which we will going to use for our next widget, which will going to be other widget. Okay, we wanted to align it on a left side, but we wanted to align it on bottom right. Okay, so now we got the alignment thing done. What about if we increase the message? Then how it will automatically increase. That's the good thing. But what we need to do is, okay, I guess till is the perfect thing. Okay, instead of using a container, I don't want you to take the whole width of the screen. So if we have a long text, it will going to take again whole width. You saw that, right, that in WhatsApp we will not take the whole width of the screen. Instead of that, what we will take, we leave some a gap in a left side if we are sending our own message, right? So that's why instead of using a container, I'm going to use a constraint box. Constraint box is like a container only, but it has some max width and max height property, which I wanted to use. Box constraint is the, I mean, constraint box have a constraint parameter which take a box constraint, and here we can provide our max width. And I don't want it to take whole width, so with help of media query dot op context dot size dot width, we can get the value of our screen width, I mean the whole width of the screen. And I just wanted to remove 45 pixel, so it will look like this. Okay, so we are not taking the whole width of the screen, or we can put 60 as well. Instead of, we are just having some space, okay, between the left side and the right side. So the thing we have usually in a WhatsApp. Okay, so that was the first step we just did. Okay, and now what we need to do, that we have a column widget, and in a column first is a text widget, and I will going to create another text widget, and it will be a sender. Okay, so name, so suppose I will just hard coding the thing, Balram will be the text widget. And let's do the styling. What will be the style, what we usually have when we send a message to another user? I'm going to use text style to style it, and I wanted to give some font size to 18 maybe. Okay, and let's increase the font weight as well to font weight dot bold, so it will bold our font. Okay, and instead of using the color black, I wanted to use it as a colors dot essence, colors dot yellow. Okay, and same kind of thing I wanted to apply on our this text. Let's not have a big text as of now. Okay, will be sufficient, and let's apply a style. And what about the color? Color will going to be a white. Okay, so Balram. Okay, and it is not properly aligned. What I will going to do, I will just decrease the font size to 13 or 14 only. Okay, and this to 16. Okay, and we have to align properly in a column wise, so I'm going to use the main axis alignment to main axis alignment start. Okay, we need to use a cross axis alignment because we had to align it on a horizontal wise. So cross axis alignment start, so it will align properly. Need to have some padding between these two texts. I will going to use size box to give some padding. Size box is another widget which can have a height and width to give some padding. So it's a column, so I'm going to use a height will going to be 3. It will give some padding between these two. Okay, at least we got to this far. Okay, and instead of getting this thing, instead of hard coding the name and the message, let's get it from the group page only. So to get that thing, we need to create a variable. First thing will going to be a sender. Second thing will going to be a what message, and here we need to use this dot message, this dot sender, and both should be a required parameter. Okay, and as we are using a stateless widget, we can directly access the same name as we are getting in this class. Okay, in a stateful class, to access the same variable, this variable, to on a stateful class, we use the widget.name. But here, if we have a stateless class, we can directly access it, so we don't need to worry about that thing. And let's remove the linting, and we can directly access the sender name. And let's remove the linting. We will do the styling later, but at least we got the name, who is the sender, and the message. Okay, and actually we need to pass it, otherwise we will get an error. So we have two things. First thing is the message will head here, I'm hard coding here, and sender will going to be Balram as of now. Okay, totally we got that thing. That card is came here. We'll work on a card later, or let's add a shape to a card at least, so it will look nice. So shape is a rounded rectangular border. We will use a border radius, dot circular, and provide some circular shape. Oh, it's 10 will be sufficient, I guess. 10, okay, or maybe 15. Okay, at least we got something. So okay, great, we have some thing over here. UI is not great. I will come up with the good combination of color later. But yeah, our own message widget is created. We have to do the same thing for our other message widget. And what we will going to do, I'm just going to use a Control A and Control C. Let's go on other message widget. Just need to change the name to other message widget. Okay, we're going to need sender and message again, and instead of using bottom right, we have to use the bottom left. Need to change a color to something else. What we can be a color we will have, we can have a white color, maybe it will be okay, white color will be good of the card, and red color will be good for name, and black color will be good for message. So we will come up with the color code later. It's just we are right now we are testing everything is working fine or not. It's other message, and let's use the same to name in message as of now to test that our widget is completed or not. So we got that thing, we got the name, we got the message. Okay, but white will not work fine, so we need to change the color of card to something else. What can be a color? Let's put a orange color. I need to find out a great color code. Okay, at least we got something as of now. So we have a our own message card and we have a other message card. Okay, so how we will put it dynamically? Whenever I will send something, then I wanted to show this up, and whenever I will receive something, I wanted to show this up. How I will do that thing? Okay, let's go on that part. So here we are using the list view, okay, but we are also maintaining our own list. Okay, so we wanted to put this thing dynamically. Okay, instead of getting this thing hard-coded way, we wanted to get it in a way where we can do it dynamically. And how we will do that thing? For that we will going to use a list view builder. So list view, if you wanted to do the same thing with the dynamic way, we can use list view dot builder. Sorry, it will be a builder, and it have a item builder, and item builder have context and index. It's a method. Okay, and here we need to return a widget. So basically it's a list view dot builder. Item builder will going to return a widget. It's a function. Okay, item builder is a function which have a two parameter, context and index, which will going to return a widget only. Okay, and along with this item builder we have a item count, and item count will going to be the count of list message we have. Okay, so basically what it will do, it will have item count parameter which will take the length of the list view. Okay, and it will iterate on this list message list. Actually list message is an array which have a list of messages. Okay, and we're going to iterate each of them. So if list message and we wanted to access on particular index, so list view builder will give the each index dot type equal to what, it own message. Okay, that's why I have added that thing. So if it is equal to own message, then I'm going to return own message widget, which will going to take two parameter. The first parameter is the dot message and the second parameter is the sender. Okay, we also need to add a else condition. If it is not a own message, then it will going to be a other message, return other message widget, and basically it will going to take the same thing, same parameter. Okay, okay, so I will explain everything one by one. Just give me hit me the save. So it's a list view dot builder. It will taking the item count as our list message. Okay, and it will going to iterate one by one through our list. If list have a 0 element, then we don't have any message to show. If list have a 1 or 2 messages, then it will going to show that message in a way that if it is a own message, then we will going to show the own message widget. Okay, as I told that I need to track down because I need to show it in a right side or left side according to the type. So that's why we did this thing. So let me just refresh the page and let's do it again. Balram, enter, and if I will type hey there, so it's totally dynamic, right? When we will send something to the backend, we will adding that thing on our list messages array, and if we receive something from the backend, we are adding that thing in our list message array. As of now, right now I'm using only one simulator. That's why we will going to send and get a same message if we will send from here. Okay, so actually nothing happened yet, so let me see why it is not happening. We sent a message and also we received a message, then it should update the list message. So oh, actually the problem we are facing, I mean we are not able to show anything, is we are not setting a state. So whenever something change, okay, then we need to set the state. Okay, so whenever we wanted to mutate something, as we are mutating the list message all the time, we are changing the list message all the time whenever we are sending something to the front from front end to the back end, or whenever we are receiving something from back end to the front end, we are just updating the list, but we are not telling the UI that you need to update your UI as well. Okay, that's why we use the stateful widget, right? We wanted to mutate our state. For us, our state is list message and we are mutating the state of this list message. So we need to do something. We wanted to refresh our UI whenever we will mutate our this list message array. Okay, and how we will do that? We need to use the set state. So set state you will get only if you are using the stateful widget. Okay, so set state, what it will do, same thing we need to do over here also. I mean we will use a set state over here also and update it over here. Oh, I need to add that thing. So basically set state, whenever we do the changes on our mutating state or variable which we wanted to update, okay, so we have updated it, but UI also need to update their part as well. So now the set state will come into the picture. It will listen the changes. Okay, if there is any kind of changes we did, okay, so it will automatically refresh the UI. Okay, and so the new changes on our UI. Okay, that is a part of the set state, and that set state you can only access it on the stateful widget. If you wanted to access it here, okay, then you don't have a property called set state on a stateless widget. It just stateless widget is just a static part, but stateful widget have that power which can mutate the state and do the things dynamically. Okay, and refresh the UI again and again whenever we want with help of this set state. Okay, so let's see again and let's try it that everything is working fine or not. I'm going to put the name Balram. Let's hey there, click something, then as you can see that this is our message which we sent, and this is the message we got from the server. Okay, that's why it is came here. So whenever we are sending as a own message and we are storing it on our local state, and from backend whenever we will sending it as a other message, and we are listening here and we are storing it on our local state, which means everything is working fine. So let's test this thing with multiple devices. Right now I have created two other simulator and we will going to test it, but before I will test it, I wanted to fix one problem. What problem we have? Suppose if it is a user 1 and if I'm sending hey there, then actually I'm able to see my own message here along with the same message I sent to the backend. Remember, I did this thing to just test it. Okay, just test it that everything is working fine or not. Now we can fix it. And how we will fix it? Basically what I'm going to do, whenever I will create a new user, I mean basically whenever I will enter a new username here, at that time I wanted to send a unique ID. Let's implement that, then you will get understand. So what I will do to generate a unique ID, what we need to do is I'm going to add a package called UUID, okay, and hit the save. So with help of UUID you can generate a unique ID for yourself, okay. And let's go here, let's search the documentation, Flutter UUID. Let's go over here, okay, and here what we need to do is we need to just import it first. Okay, let me just copy this part first, and let's go on a home page and let's create an instance of UUID. When I will use control dot, then it will import the package, and I wanted to get this thing in a group page. So whenever I will enter our name, okay, so I'm just sending a name, right? So along with the name I wanted to send a unique ID. So let's get it final string user ID. It also going to be a required this dot user ID. If I will hit the save, then I will get an error because we need to send the user ID. And what will be the user ID? The UUID which we created dot v1. Okay, so it will going to generate a unique user ID for us. Here you can see that it will going to generate a user ID like this. So it will be going to be a unique. I'm going to hit the save, okay, and I'm going to start it. And how we will access it? Again, we will access it using the same widget dot user ID, okay. So how it will help? So whenever I will send a message, so here if I will send a message, I will send it with the user ID, the user ID which we are getting, okay. I'm going to send the same user ID from the front end to the back end, and back end will going to send us again, okay, the same user ID. But here what I will do, that here we are doing the set state, we are adding that message on our list, okay. So here what I will do, I will add a if condition. So now in the message we have the user ID which we send to the backend, and backend will again going to send to us just like we did here, right? So we are getting all the thing which we are sending from the front end, and we will get the same thing from the backend. So if that particular user ID, okay, is not equal to our user ID, so the user ID we had widget dot user ID, then only I'm going to send. So suppose, let me show you, if I will refresh the page, if I will go and I'm a user 1, so suppose I type hey there, and before that I'm just clicked here, okay. So we send the user ID which is a unique, okay, from the front end to the back end, okay, the user ID, and we got it here, that unique user ID, and backend again send to front end. And now we checked here, the user ID which we are getting is, if it is not same the user ID we have, okay, then only add that to our list, otherwise don't add it. So that's good, right? So here we don't need to worry about our own messages. Now if other user like user 2 will send a message, then only we will going to show here, otherwise we will not going to show here, okay. So now what we need to do is our problem is fixed, and let's see if I will send a message from the other user. Okay, so here if I will initiate a chat with user 2, enter. If I will send a message to from here, then we are not able to send it to this user. Why? Because I mean it is not working fine right now. Why it is not working? We have explanation that whenever we come here, like whenever one user connect with the SocketIo, okay, it have a unique socket instance. So if I am connected with the socket server, it had a unique socket instance, and in that unique socket instance only we are emitting something. So that's not a good practice. I mean, with help of that we can't implement the group chat. So to implement a group chat, what we need to do, we need to join each socket to some room. So this is a unique instance we will get whenever, like suppose we have a three users. So all the three user will going to have a 3 unique socket instance. Okay, so what we will going to do, we're going to use the join, and I wanted to join all the socket instance to some room. So I'm going to create a anonymous group. Okay, so that now our all the socket instance will going to join a anonymous group room. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to send a message whenever I will get that message from one socket instance, okay, to that group. So suppose might be it is tricky. So instead of doing this socket.emit, because socket can send to the message to their connected socket only, okay, one client. So socket server, if we will do this, socket is a client of this particular user, so it can send a message to this particular user only, not to other user. Okay, but now our socket is joined to this room. Okay, so if you wanted to send something io dot something as a group, then we will going to send that particular message to this group. And how we will do that? So here I'm doing the each step one by one, please watch carefully. So this socket is given by this particular socket client. Okay, and I ask this socket, I mean this socket, to join a room. Okay, now our server, the IO server, have a room. Okay, and what we are doing, I'm asking my socket server, okay, to emit a message on this room. So this room is particular group. Okay, I'm emitting a message on this particular room, which is a group. This is an event which we already covered here. So here this is an event. Okay, and the same message we are earlier sending, we are sending now also, but instead of sending in a this format, so we are sending in a this format. Okay, so actually this socket was the instance of this socket client, that's why any message we can send to this client only. But if you want to send some message from one client to multiple client, we ask all the client to join the same room. So whenever our app will be loaded, basically it will try to connect with our socket server, and whenever it will connect, first it will join our anonymous group. So all the three clients, whenever it will be loaded, okay, it will join this same group. Okay, if you have 4, 5, 6 or many clients, all of them will join this same group, and whenever they will send message on this particular event, so we have event, right? So we are sending a message on this event, so that particular socket will listen, okay, and it will send a message once it will got on that event to the same group which all the sockets are joined. Okay, so we are sending it now in a group with a event, okay, send message server, and in the same event we are listening the message. Okay, so that's why I did all the step one by one to smoothly to tell you everything. Okay, now it is ready to test properly. Okay, so let me just refresh the page and let's open all the socket clients. So let's start with the user 1, enter. Let's start with the user 2, let's connect the user 3. So all the 3 users are connected. You can see that all the 3 users are connected with our socket server and in the same group called anonymous group. Okay, so suppose if I will send a message, hey there, okay, so that message will go all the user who are connected with the same group, which means it's working as a group functionality, like we have a group on a WhatsApp. Okay, and why that not came here, another message, because each user have a unique ID and we already filtered out that if user is our own user, then we don't want it to save that message on our list. Okay, so if user will type something, hey there, then all the messages will go to other users. So this is a user 2, hey, okay, so that message came here, which means everything is working fine. Okay, and that's it for this video, and I just want your help to support this channel because I have put lots of effort to make this whole video, and if you want to support this channel and this video get some likes and some more views, then we can do a further enhancement on this project. What we can do that as of now we just hard coded all the thing, hard coded in the sense the group name. So here group name is already hard coded, but if you want then we can add a plus button over here which will going to create a new group. Okay, so all the group will going to list over here, and using the plus button we can create a new group and people can join on that group, and we can handle all of this thing on a MongoDB database. But all this thing will happen only if you show your support and make my channel successful. Then I will again put my lots of effort. Thank you all. See you on the next video. Don't forget to subscribe the channel, like the video and share the video. See you on the next video. Okay.